Hello, everybody. Just wanted to do kind of a quick walkthrough, an overview, if you will, on our data acquisition project. So we're working through how we would seize digital evidence using FTK Imager Lite. So in order to get ready for the project, you need to download and install FTK Imager Lite. Use the link in Canvas that's to an older version, and it will work across multiple operating systems. And then make sure you download the student, so it'll be the 2443 student VHD virtual hard drive file from our Canvas course. There's a data files link there. So at the end of this project, you're going to upload your image summary text file that will be created for grading. So mounting our drive. So in a real investigation, we would not just plug a USB. We wouldn't plug an external hard drive. We wouldn't just plug it into a Windows operating system. And the reason is that Windows writes information back to a drive when it's plugged in. And it exchanges a lot of information. And our primary goal, again, is to preserve evidence. So we would make sure that we're using a hardware or a software write blocker so that no information could inadvertently be written back to our suspect's drive. This is practice. We're just learning how to use the tool. And so we're going to use a virtual hard drive. So that VHD file that you downloaded, if you double click it, it will mount is the proper term, right? So it tricks your Windows system into thinking that you just inserted a USB. And so your system will make the noise and it will assign it the next available drive letter. And so you should see something now on your system that says student non-resident, and then whatever drive was available next for you. So open up Access Data's FTK Imager Lite. So the best way to open this up would be to right click your icon and run as an administrator. That's going to give you full access to the features in the program. So the main interface, when it pulls up the main dashboard, if you will, so on our top left, we have an evidence tree. So that's where all of the drives and images, whatever we're adding to our case file, will show there. The top portion of the center window there will display the contents of any drive that's selected. And then the bottom portion, it will actually display what that file is. So if it's an image file, it will display the image. If it's a text file, it will show the text. But you also have the ability to switch views and look at metadata, look at the hex values, the actual hex that's being stored. So it's a pretty robust tool. So to get started, we're going to click on the file link up in the top left. So opens up a menu, and on that menu, we have a lot of options. So we can add an evidence item, we can attach or add all attached devices. Very rarely would you do that. There's image mounting. We're going to get into that in a later project. Create a disk image. That's what we're going to do today. But you also see options there for a decrypt an AD1, so access data image. So when we create these images, if it's confidential information or we're concerned about what might be present on the drive we're imaging, we can actually encrypt that image using this tool. Capture memory. So if you were going to do a triage on a running system, if you're running with administrative privileges, FTK Imager Lite will actually it'll dump the memory out of a running system for us. And then the obtain protected files that you see there, those are the registry files. So again, the memory and the registry files are held very closely by a Windows operating system, right? Microsoft knows that, hey, wait, if you can get access to these, you have access to all kinds of information. So they want you to have administrative rights before you do that. So again, we're going to create a disk image. So if you'll click that, then it opens up a source selection. And so we have a choice. We could image a physical drive, a logical drive, or we could load an image file, or we could image the contents of a specific folder. So if we were doing again, a triage on a running system, we could just grab a single folder, or we could image a CD or DVD if we wanted. So those are our options. We're going to use physical drive because we want to get a feel for how this would work in a real investigation. Select physical drive, hit next. And now we should see a drop-down menu. And so all of the physical drives attached to your system, or what your system perceives as a physical drive, will be listed. So the bottom one should be the last one, would be that virtual drive. It's 104 megabytes, so it's very small. This will be a very quick process, no matter how slow your computer is. So select that 104 megabyte virtual drive there, click finish. It takes us into another menu. And so this is where we're going to create the image. So a couple of check boxes there by default: verify images after they're created. So it's going to automatically create hashes, which we want, right? That's part of your grading assignment, but we want to verify it was a good copy anyway. And then pre-calculate the statistics progress. This image is so quick, you're not even going to really pay it. You won't even notice that. But a larger, right, a 500 gigabyte or a 2 terabyte drive could take days to image, and so that will let you know where your system is at in the process of that, depending on the speed that we have. So we're going to click the add button. Once we hit add, we get a second pop-up box, and it's going to tell us to select the image type. So we can save our image in a few different formats. This is part of the lecture, right? So a raw format, a smart format, the EO1 expert witness format, or the AFF, right, advanced forensics format. Most of our forensics tools will work quite well with an EO1, that expert one. It's technically not the standard that we would use. It's not the standard file type, I guess I should say, but it is so standardized that that's just the one all investigators use. So whenever you're creating images, it's better just to use the EO1 file. It has a lot of options. So if you click EO1 and then hit next, it's going to prompt us to enter some case information. So different agencies, different entities will name their cases differently. So I just chose NLC, right? Northeast Lakeview College. We're in the 2443 class, -001. I created that case. So evidence number, again, different agencies, different organizations may or may not want that in there. The unique description is very important. So if you're doing like a network intrusion response, you might image 10 Windows 10 desktops. And so you want to put in there a description so this was Bob's machine. This is the receptionist machine. This is accounting. And so they need to be very specific so you know where this image came from. Because once we're looking at it, once the image is created, it's difficult to tie it back to a specific computer unless there's something really unique about it. And then obviously put your name in as the examiner, hit next. Now it's going to ask us where we want that image destination. Where do we want this saved to? I chose to put mine on the desktop so it's easy to find. And so as you browse, select your desktop. Create an image name. Again, last name is probably easy. That way it's easy to find. Do not change the defaults. So by default, FTK Imager will break down into 1,500 megabyte fragments, right? These really large files. We're not going to have that because it's obviously smaller than that. And then it also has the ability to compress our images. The default is 6, which is a fair amount of compression, but we don't have to worry about data loss. And then we see that checkbox. If we wanted to encrypt this image file, we would check that do not encrypt your image file. There's no need to do that in this. So, and if we click finish, really quickly, we're going to get a pop-up that says that it's 100% done already. It tells you, hey, I wrote it back out to the desktop like you wanted. Image file was created successfully. Mine on my system, elapsed tile was less than 1 second, so it doesn't even display. You might have 1 or 2 seconds depending on the speed of your system. So at that point, FTK Imager created an image file, an EO1 file. It put that on your desktop or wherever you chose to save it. And it also created a summary file. So if we click that image summary button, it'll open that for us and we can look at all of the information that was collected during the imaging process, which is pretty impressive. It does a great job of giving us the all of the sectors and how big it was and how it was physically arranged. So you get a lot of that information along with our hash values. And so that's our next project. And that is where we will leave off right now.